you are. And yeah, good morning, Nikhil. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thanks for tuning in today. We're going to talk about something that probably a lot of you can relate to. I know if you watch my channel, you're probably kind of an analytical, kind of very thoughtful person. And I know a lot of us who are thoughtful people, not always. I mean, it's kind of a stereotype, maybe a little bit of a stereotype, but I know a lot of us who are very thoughtful people, who are very analytical people, we tend to also get lost in our own mind, and we also tend to be maybe a bit introverted rather than extroverted. And I want to correct a few misconceptions about this in case you don't know this already, because being an introvert, which I've come to terms with it. I definitely am an introvert. No matter how much I've tried to morph myself into an extrovert over the years, I am definitely an introvert. And and I accept that, and I'm proud of it, because it's something that it's not something wrong with you. It's a difference in well, I'll go into it. What really is being an introvert versus an extrovert? There's a misconception that being an introvert means you're an outgoing person, and an introvert means you're like a shy person, something like that. That's absolutely not what it means at all. Introverted people, the most outgoing social people that you know, could also be introverts. The shy, well, it may not work the opposite way. A shy person is an extrovert, but the person could be shy and could be an extrovert as well. That as actually is possible. All right. So they don't go together. Those traits don't go together. To be clear, what being an extrovert means is that where you tend to get your energy from or recharge, your kind of your recharge and restore your energy, basically, and reset yourself. That is in a social setting, right? So if you're alone too long, alone at home too long, you may really need to go to a party, or you may need to go out somewhere and meet some people, and that kind of energizes you. It restores your battery, so to speak, right? And what being an introvert actually means is that the opposite is true. You could go, you could be at a party a long time, or you could be in a social situation. But what happens is that tends to drain your battery, right? Tends to wear it down little by little by little, until you don't have so much energy left, and you need to kind of okay, you need to be by yourself a little bit. You need to like read a book. You need to just chill out at home, relax, restore yourself, and that's how you restore yourself. That's basically what being an introvert is. You do like your alone time, right? So I mean, ask yourself: is that you? Is that Do you where do you recharge more? Do you recharge in a social situation, or do you recharge in more of like at home alone kind of situation? So for me, definitely, I will tell you to this day, I love interacting with people. Don't get me wrong, I love it. If you ever reach out to me, like I'm, like people, some of the viewers have actually reached out to me. I've gotten on like Zoom calls with you guys. I've got, I have a phone call coming up with somebody. I love interacting with you guys. I'm pretty open to actually connect. Um, and have conversations, right? That's who I am. I love to do that. And actually, I got used to that through all my business experience over the years. Now I've been an entrepreneur. I haven't had a job, like worked for somebody for I don't know how many years now, right? I've always pretty much always run some sort of business or something like that, because I just don't like to work for somebody else. I just don't. I guess that's even the introvert part of me. In a way, that's kind of like the introvert part of me. Like, I don't want to be in an office around people all the time. I want to control the time that I'm around people, something like that. That might be part of it. But but anyway, I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to it. For those of you who don't know, my background. So I had kind of have a dual background. One is originally an academic, highly theoretical background, and then the other part is being in sales. And being in sales, and then also being having run an SAT prep business, or academic test prep school, and college counseling agency, and all of that. So a lot of that is all like people interaction. That's constant people interaction. And to this day, I will tell you, even though I love interacting with people, it does drain me. It does drain me. Like, I actually, even for a Zoom call, right? A coffee, even if I go out for coffee or lunch or something like that, I actually do have to mentally prepare myself. It's not that I don't enjoy the interaction. It's like I have to kind of like psych myself up into it, right? To make sure I can, like, okay, I'm gonna be able to handle this, right? It might sound weird to people who are not introverted, but I think if you're watching this, you might be able to relate to this. So it's funny because, yeah. So I mean, ask yourself if that relates to you. So how to succeed as an introvert, though? How to succeed? Well, so I'm going to give you this story, right? And there's this story that happened, to kind of start out this conversation. I Back when I was running my direct sales business, and I was working with teams and stuff like that. I really, again, because I was just coming out of being in the academic world, I didn't really understand how to relate to people. I really, really didn't. I was in the books for most of my life, really, at that time. And so, like, relating to people was a big, a hard thing. Welcome, Escalator Journey. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to this live stream. Yeah, we're learning how to succeed as an introvert, right? So when I was starting out, and feel free to share where you're coming in from, where you're watching from. I'd love to know. So when I was just starting out in the sales world, and in entrepreneurship, right? My mentor at the time said, hey, you need to communicate more with your team. Like, make sure you're communicating. Like, that's the key. That's the key to success, is communicate with your team. And I said, oh, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. We haven't gotten on a call recently. We haven't actually had like a meeting recently. I guess, yeah, we should communicate. And to me, what I did, right, when I heard that advice, was I arranged a call. I think it was a call, or it was a meeting. I arranged a call, and then on that call, uh, I basically told them, hey, this is what we need to do, right? We need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. Got it? Okay, good. And then I was so proud of myself at that time. I remember I was so proud of that. Yeah, actually, Escalator, I'll talk about that in a moment. I was so proud, and it actually even goes beyond that, in fact. I was so proud of myself at the time, because I was like, yeah, I communicated, right? I did exactly what you told me to do. And then I told her, I talked to her again, and I said, hey, I did exactly what you told me to do. I communicated with my team. And she said, and I described to her what we did. And she's like, that's great, but that's not really what I meant by communication. I'm like, that's not what you meant by what could you have possibly meant by communication? We got it. We got on a call. I told them what to do, and yeah, I mean, like, what else are we supposed to do? And as I went on in my journey, I started to discover that that's not really what communication means. It's like sitting down and telling people what to do, right? That is a fundamental. Like, you actually need to make contact with people to communicate, yes, but that's all that was. That was like making contact with people. Once you make contact with people, right, beyond that, you need to do more. It's about building relationships. It's about building relationships, and I really didn't understand that. In fact, escalator journey, that's actually something that you're mentioning here, which is part of, like, pausing, eye contact, remembering people's names, acknowledging people, saying their names whenever possible. Those are all important things. And on top of that, the greater theme, the greater importance there is relatability. And I actually just talked about this in my most recent video. Go check out my most recent video this week that I posted on Monday, uploaded on Monday. Why stupid people um, outperform the smart, right? Forget that the title. 4 reasons, right? Stupid people outperform the smart. One of the reasons, one of the reasons is relatability. Like really overly analytical people tend to be tend to be not relatable because what can you, as a highly analytical person, what's the one thing that we struggle with? Seriously, what's one thing that we struggle with? And like, why might you actually even be on this live stream right now? What's one thing that you might struggle with? Relating to people, like relating to people. I had to clear a spam call coming in. Relating to people, like everyday people, because why? Because what do you like to talk about? You like to talk about some theory, or you like to talk about science, or you like to talk about some cosmological principle or physics or something like that, or philosophy. And you're looking around, right? You're looking around. Let me get my coffee. You're looking around, and you're like, okay, who can I talk to who likes that stuff? Who's into that stuff? Oh, nobody. Nobody. You might find one person or something, and it's so hard because you want to talk about that stuff, and you like that stuff. You want to share. You want to learn, but who around you is into that, and it's really, it can be very very frustrating, right? And yeah, so I just want to read your comments here. Careful but calculated breach of boundaries, like telling a mildly inappropriate joke. Talk about something relatable and personal. They think it's your guy's secret. You're their leader now. Yeah, I tried explaining this statistical theory once. Yeah, so yes, so you can relate to it. So all my life, like ever since I was in my undergrad, throughout my sales career and through my business career, I sacrificed myself because I gave up because I was like, okay, I have to do practical things. I'm this introverted, nerdy person. I like theory. I like, talking about science and philosophy and history and all of these things. And I back in my undergrad, I could do that because I was in philosophy club. I was in all these right clubs, and I would audit classes that I wasn't even registered for. I would like sneak into some classes that I wasn't even registered for, even, and and I remember a funny story. Sometimes the professor would be like, "Wait, so who are you again?" And so yeah, I actually did sneak into some classes, but like it was, yeah, you're too introverted. So no, here's kind of just a message for all the introverts out here. Because what I did was, for the longest time, I think about for 10 years, 10 years at least, I, just because out of the necessity of like making money, right? I said, okay, let me leave all the nerdy stuff behind. I'm gonna leave all the. I'm not gonna think about theory. I'm not gonna think about philosophy. I'm not gonna think about things that I used to care about because that doesn't make me money, and that's also not relatable to people. My dog is trying to get my attention. I'll show you guys my dog later. But anyway, um, you get to see her every week if you're on this live stream. but um, she loves when I do live streams. I don't know why. Here, I'll just tell. She loves when I do live streams. I have no idea. Whenever I do live streams, she comes over and she wants to, she wants to like just disturb me. Right? She's pawing me. She's swiping me right now. Um, so yeah. So exactly, escalator journey. That's exactly what happens. Thank you. I know she really is cute. Um, that's exactly what happens. It's like they look at you weird, and so I I left that all behind because just for the necessity of making money. Eventually, I actually did end up making a decent amount of money. Like I actually, and even in the test prep agency, you might think that's that I was running, right? That, oh, you say, okay, that's an academic agency that you were running. Like you got to use all your, you know, all those theoretical things, and but not really, not really. It was just test preparation. It was academic prep. It was people learning because they got to get a grade so they can get into a good school. And like, okay, I got it, but that's not what I value in knowledge. That's not what I value in conversations. So I was sacrificing myself and leaving all these things behind. Um, so, mm, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know in Islam, dogs having dogs as pets. My understanding is that it's haram, but yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, but no, I love my dog. I love my dog. I love my dog. Um, so what was I gonna say? So anyway, how to overcome this? How can we overcome this if this is our personality? Well, I think it's just important to realize one thing. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you jumping on. I love having people all over the world right join our live stream, and it's really awesome. Um, so yeah, you said in sales how to handle customer if you're an introvert. So I'll be honest. Okay, so let's talk about that really quick because it's a good topic. I did tons of appointments in my whole career in entrepreneurship and selling. I have done probably, if you counted it all up, like thousands of appointments, thousands of one-on-one appointments, consultations, with people to close them effectively on whether it was a product or a service or something, right? And I will tell you, I had to mentally prepare myself before each interaction. I think that is the most important thing is that you have to really like hype yourself up. You have to hype yourself up. And I think it's also something you have to realize is, and something that I realized was like once I got going, even to this day, if I'll get on a coaching call, like because I do some coaching calls with people, still, even if like before I get on a coaching call, I have to remind myself, it might be like an hour or 2 hours. I have to remind myself, okay, like this is a social interaction, but once I get going and once I get into the interaction, it's going to be easier. It's kind of like inertia and building momentum. You just have to realize, like once you're in the interaction, like getting started, that part is feels awkward, feels painful, feels uncomfortable. But the more you get into the interaction, the more you build momentum, that's it actually will become more pleasant. It'll become more pleasant. But as an introvert, of course, you can do sales, you could do promotions, you could be this, right? Again, being an introvert doesn't mean that you're not outgoing. I have become very outgoing over time. I'm very outgoing. Like I'll go to a party, I'll go here, I'll go to a social event, I'll have lunch with friends and stuff like that, and all of that. But again, just being an introvert means you need to just go and recharge sometimes, right? You need to take a break from that stuff and go recharge by yourself, right? Read a book, just be alone, meditate, go for a workout, go for a run, and that's what that means. So I think being an introvert, you absolutely can do all of those quote unquote extroverted things. You absolutely can do all of those social things, those social interactions. Don't buy into some belief that you cannot be influential socially. You cannot make an impact with what you're doing socially, and be outgoing and be influential and be a great communicator. Of course, some of the greatest communicators have been introverts. I believe you could say maybe even like Benjamin Franklin, right, was an introvert. Many great speakers throughout history were introverts. Many great leaders have been introverts. And what you need to do is just you need to mentally prepare yourself before each interaction, and then know when and how you best recharge. That's key. Otherwise, you will burn out at some point. You will crash and burn at some point, and it's very, very easy to crash and burn if you don't know yourself and know your system, right? Uh, Oh, you go to sales. Your boss threw you out in 3 days. Well, the thing is about sales. Let me be honest. don't let that discourage you. I mean, if you really want to do sales and really want to do like people facing business, it just means you're not good at it yet. It doesn't mean that you're not good at it. You can't learn it and become good at it. Let me tell you something. When I started out in sales and entrepreneurship, I don't do sales anymore. I prefer not to do it because I have other, just over time I've gotten other ways of earning income and things like that. But when I was first starting out in sales, like I was horrible at it. I would sit across from somebody, and no joke, because I had this value theory background, because I had all this just academic background, my understanding of how I would close a sale or do a consultation with somebody, my idea was, oh, let me give you a cost benefit analysis as to why this product is good and you should buy it, right? And I said, I got this. I got this. If I just give them the perfect logical breakdown, of course they're going to buy. Of course they're going to buy. How can you deny logic? How can you deny the logic, right? If I give you the perfect argument, how can you deny the logic? Of course you're going to buy. And you want to know what the result was? I guess you can guess the result from that. So I learned pretty quickly. Hey Yuki, welcome, welcome. Thanks for hopping on the live stream. Great to have you. I will answer your question in a moment. And guess what? Guess what happened, right? I learned pretty quickly that that's not how people think. It's not how people behave. It's not how people work. And even the analytical people, even people who are analytical, they won't accept just a logical argument, because how our brains work and how our minds work is we don't start with some premises or some truths and then get to a conclusion. That's not how our minds work. We start with a conclusion, right? We just do. Even the quote unquote really smart people and analytical people, we start with a conclusion first, and then we come up with the premises, or we come up with the truths, so to speak, to prove that and to weave into that, right? So you absolutely can do it. Yuki, you said how to make entrepreneurship experiments into daily habits. That's actually a really great. It's a really great question. Honestly, I think one of the best habits we can make for entrepreneurship, and it's a great question for all of us introverts as well. But the best habit is just something small. It's something small and it's something doable for all of us, is to reach out to somebody every day. Just make a habit, like text somebody every day, reach out to somebody, start some sort of conversation, or if you're out and about, right, you're out in public, find some ways to start some conversation. And guess what it's going to do? It's going to make you really, really awkward at first. But why is this a really important entrepreneurship habit? If you want to do something in entrepreneurship, anything, even if it's online business, you think online business, oh, okay, it's just me behind a computer. Yeah, to a large extent, but most business requires us to be good with people. Most business, right? So, yeah, hey Herman, welcome, welcome. Always like to see you on here, from Austria, right? And nice to see you too. Thank you. Um, so yeah, okay, actually, Yuki, it's a good question. Kind of like trying to make a new girlfriend every day. Kind of like just trying to make contact with people every day. And it's actually not even, yes, guten Tag, guten Tag. Uh, my German is horrible. I just know very limited German, but I want to learn more languages. That's something that I want to learn more languages. Right now, I can basically survive in China, right? I can actually have a philosophical or scientific conversation in French. That's my French is at least advanced enough to have like a good conversation in French. My Spanish is like I could just survive. Basically, I could order from a restaurant in Spanish. So, and then obviously I speak English, but yeah. Well, so how do you get good at communication? You fail more. I know people just don't. We don't want to hear that, but we actually have to feel awkward. Like the first few interactions with people, they're going to be painful and awkward. Um, but the more we practice it, the more it's going to feel natural. And even if you're like an analytical person, well, guess what? Just the probability tells you, even if you don't want to like start a business, and it doesn't matter, right? Not everybody wants to do business. Like it, who cares, right? Not everybody has to do business. Most people are not going to do business. That's cool, right? um, we can we can live amazing lives, like even if we don't run a business. Like, oh, I know that's controversial, right, among self-help gurus and stuff like that. Oh, you have to run a business to live a happy life, right? No, but the idea here is business is great. Don't get me wrong, but I love it. I love entrepreneurship. I have not been an employee for years, as I've said before, and I prefer to run do my own thing. But anyway, even if you're not going to do business or anything like that, making contacts on a daily basis, making that habit of just sending a DM or sending a text message, and then tracking it in. I actually track it in my spreadsheet. You said, Yuki, that you struggle with keeping the contacts. Well, one way to keep the contacts is to track it, right? Be organized and have a spreadsheet. And I know it sounds like overly, like, why would you track conversations that you have with people? Or, well, because here's the thing. In our day and age, especially now, um, it is so hard. It is so hard. I don't know how many of you would agree with me, but it is so hard to stay in touch with people because life is moving at this fast pace. Everybody's busy with something. Everybody's focused on something. And maybe another time, decades ago, it might have been easier to just meet up with people in your community and regularly touch base with people in your community. And I know at least here in the U.S., and I live in New York City, especially New York City, it's so fast paced. It's so fast paced. It's people brushing by each other, right? People, barely acknowledging each other's existence, and so it's very easy to lose touch with people. So if you don't track it, if you don't track your conversations or track your contacts, it's going to be really easy to lose touch with people. So every so often, you just check in with people, say, "Hey, how are you doing? How's life been?" Over time, you're going to have this nice group of people, contacts, and then within those contacts, you're going to have a nice group of friends. And the benefit of that is multiple. Obviously, friendship is a good in and of itself, but don't you want to have, I started this out by saying, don't you want to be able to live a life where you have those meaningful conversations about whatever you want to have conversations about: history, physics, science, philosophy, like all these things that I love having conversations about. Don't you want to have meaningful conversations? Well, the more, just follow the logic here. The more contacts you build up and the more you keep this habit up, the more you're going to find, the more likely it is, well, not the more likely it is, but same probability, but the the more you're going to find people who like having those conversations, who will have those meaningful interactions, right? Who you can really become true friends with, right? And so, and yeah, and now down the line, if you want to do something like business, or even you want to find a new job or career or something, or something that's whatever opportunity, you'll have this kind of network of contacts of people around you that will be allies for you in a sense, right? And you can't see it. You guys can't see it, but my dog is constantly pawing me. Look, she's constantly pawing me because she wants me to pay attention to her and not you guys, right? She wants me to pay attention. I think she wants to go for a walk. That's what she wants to do. It's almost lunchtime for her now, and she knows exactly. She's very, very smart. She knows exactly. She knows what I'm saying. She's very, very smart. She is a smart dog. She knows what I'm saying. She knows lunchtime. And she knows all of these words. Stop. Stop. She's anyway. She's adorable. Great to spend the day with. I get to stay at home with her every day. Um, so anyway, guys, it is amazing. Being with you guys. I do want to give a shout out to a new channel member, Sudanshu Oja. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sudanshu Oja. Um, Thanks for becoming a member, joining the channel membership. I look forward to serving you. And oh, good question, Yuki. What is the ideal frequency? We should ping a person to keep in good touch with contacts. Um, I would say, it depends on how much you like them. Honestly, depends on how much you like them and how much you like each other and how much you like interacting with each other. If it's somebody who you really enjoy being around, yeah, why weekly or every few weeks. If it's somebody who's just kind of a general contact every so often, maybe every few months, maybe every 6 weeks, every 6 to 8 weeks, you can get in touch with them. That's kind of like what I do, right? So, that's the idea. Guys, actually, I just want to let you know that I am launching a new initiative that I'm very excited about. It's called Critical Thinking Academy. So stay tuned. I'm launching Critical Thinking Academy. I think all of you will really be very interested in this. I've already asked a lot of people about this. I've done a lot of the classes already, putting together the curriculum. It's super exciting. So just wait. It's coming in a few weeks. Critical Thinking Academy. So stay posted, and you'll see that very very soon. So I've enjoyed being with you guys as I do always every week. Stay tuned. You know, stay in touch with me. Reach out, and I'll be in touch with you soon. All right. Take care. Have a great week.